What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines. And who better to join me today than John Hanson? Why don't you say what's up?
What's up? Let's talk some Switch 2.
It's been a while, but yes, we're here to talk Switch 2. But before we get into any of that, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that are liking these videos, subscribing to Game Sandwich. We just hit 600. Thank you to each and every one of you guys out there. So we greatly appreciate it. And what better way to celebrate 600 subscribers here on YouTube than to talk about the Switch 2 and some patents that came back up. And, yeah, is the DS coming back? Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But to kind of lay the groundwork and then open the conversation, there were patents that did arise a while back talking about this second screen that can attach to the Switch 2, clamshell design, the classic thing. But as of August 14th, those patents were renewed or brought back up to the general public. Now, John, people are talking about the DS. Do we think this is a thing? Do we think we're finally getting it?
Yeah, I do think this is happening because this is the second. I mean, I remember writing about this the first time. This was back in February, January, like months before we even had the Switch 2 that this patent first came out. The fact that it's coming out again is really telling me, oh yeah, there's a lot of smoke here. There's definitely going to be fire there. Now that being said, this is just a patent, so there's still time for Nintendo to cancel this, and also we're probably a good couple of years away from this actually being a thing.
That's the one thing whenever I look at NSO where it's like, all right, we just got the GameCube, so we're going to slowly trickle out those games and then like digest that console, because that's a big deal. GameCube is a big deal. This is more of a, like you said, later down the line when we're kind of settled into the Switch 2, we're getting all these games, and now it's like, all right, what do you need to boost us over the hump midway through the generation? I want to float this idea out there because I'm sitting here looking at all these consoles I have, how much space they take up. Would it be smart for them to work out a device that uses your old Switch 1 as that second screen, where it's like just the little, the hinge part where that slots in? Could that be a thing?
I don't think so. I think this is its own little device thing that just hooks into the top of your Switch 2. Uh, Putting the Switch 1 on top of the Switch 2, that would make it very heavy. So I don't think Nintendo wants to do that. But I don't know. It's Nintendo. But no, from what I remember, I haven't looked into the new stuff, but the uh the stuff that I remember originally writing about was it was just a screen that hooked into the top USB slot of the Switch 2. That's perfect. I mean, it gives us a chance to play DS games in a way that hasn't been available for a long time now. So I could definitely see something like this happening.
And this is a big thing for just playing those specific games. The only way you can play them now in 2025 is through original hardware. I know emulation is a thing. For the people on the internet out there, they're going to say you can just emulate. It's hard to replicate that experience, the dual screen, in like on your PC monitor or on your phone. And then when talking about the sheer catalog of games that are there on the DS, I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that is one of, if not Nintendo's best-selling consoles, the DS I'm talking about, where it's
It's
like,
it is the best. Yeah.
it is the best. I always think the Switch is up there, but it's probably a close second. But again,
Well, the Switch might have overcome it, but it's massive. How about that?
yeah, exactly. It's up there. But looking at the sheer catalog of games as well that are available on the DS and 3DS and all that, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that has been untouched. And then you talk about the eShops closing down. It's like those games are very closed off over there. And moving forward, we assume we're going to get those Pokemon games, the handhelds, on NSO or in some way, shape, or form, please, on the modern console. Suddenly the Switch 2 becomes the Nintendo console, where it's like almost everything outside the Wii, it's on there, which that's such a great prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. The DS, I never had one. Uh, just because of timing and everything. I was in middle school and all that, so I never got a chance to play it much. But every time I did get to play it, I was always like blown away. Like I talk a lot about how Super Mario 64 is one of my favorite games of all time. Playing the DS version of that was so cool, and like getting all the new stars and everything. Yeah, it's not perfect by any means, but being able to play that again on the Switch 2 would be really awesome. Uh, the library for that console is just so massive that there's going to be a lot that you're not able to play just because of how huge that library is. But I don't know, just get some Brain Age, get some other stuff on here. Man, that would be really cool. It'd be something that a lot of us that grew up with it, like just a lot of people haven't been able to play them for a long time.
I also see Nintendogs making a comeback. Shout out to
Yeah,
that game. I
absolutely.
mean, that has to be one of them. But then I also look at the Switch 2 and its functionality with the mouse pad and how, like, outside of Drag X Drive, you're not really utilizing it. PictoChat. Can we get PictoChat back? Can we get Street Pass back? These little social features that I think would go a long way on a brand new modern Nintendo console. Albeit, who's really going to use PictoChat? I don't know. I just like the novelty of it being there. And I know that's just wishful thinking right now. But Street Pass, I mean, people still use that today, which is insane to me. But that's the Nintendo fan core right there. They love their little quirky features.
Yeah, Street Pass was awesome. When you're talking about 3DS stuff, I also don't think that we get 3DS games or anything with this anytime soon. I think that's a Switch 3 thing. Like that's a way down the line thing. I think knowing Nintendo and how they operate, they would probably focus on regular DS games. I could be wrong. They gave us Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games at the same time.
Yeah.
But I just don't see them putting like DS in the lower tier while 3DS is in the expansion plus tier like they did with GB and GBA. It'd be awesome, but I just don't see them doing that.
That's the thing, and then there's always the possibility with the second screen, if it is specifically catered to the DS, do they include a slot where you can pop in your games? I don't know. I think that's more of a stretch. I think whenever we talk about the hardware, you're just getting the screen that just pops in and you move on, have a nice day. But, I mean, hey, the prospect is there. I mean, we talk about just keeping games up to date or on current consoles to play. Nintendo's back catalog is just expansive. There's games for everybody. And I do think whenever we talk about if this is going to be an NSO thing, I think you get some of the bangers on there, but suddenly a re-release or remaster or whatever as a standalone game, that might seem likely too. Because there are some big ones up there, like Kid Icarus Uprising. I know a lot of people talk about that game. That could be a thing too.
Oh yeah, again, you're talking about a 3DS game. There's no way that they would put that on NSO right away. If that game were to come back, that's definitely a remaster remake, which has had some rumors about being in the works. It would make sense for that game to be connected to this, but other 3DS games, I just don't see them coming back for a while. Talking about the having a cartridge slot on this, that's just not happening. We're talking about Nintendo. This is going to be mostly to push NSO, but they'll definitely like re-release games, but there's just no way that they're going to be like, yeah, you got your cartridge from 2007,
Mm.
put it in there. Like that's just not how Nintendo works.
That's me with all my old Pokemon games. I'm like, I have them. They're right here. Can I use them,
Yeah,
please?
no.
I think
And you're also not getting any Pokemon games on there because we can't even get the Game Boy ones yet. So,
I've slowly died out on that prospect. I'm more of like, hey, whenever we do it, we do it. We're at that point now. But
yeah.
in closing, the ideal thing now to talk about, if this is a thing, let's just say we progress along and Nintendo's like, yeah, it's coming. Price point. What do we think this could potentially come in at? Because this is a screen. We don't know the quality. That's a lot that's up in the air. But hey, it's worth
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah, my guess 150,
Okay.
200
Yeah. I'm sitting at
probably.
120-ish, 130 maybe. I mean, again, quality of screen is a big deal. Also,
Yeah, we don't know that. With the Switch 2, it's hard to tell because one, with the Switch 2, Nintendo has gone away from making just like a toy thing. Like the Switch 2 feels like a premium device, much
mhm.
more than the Switch 1. There has been a shift in Nintendo to not necessarily make like the cheap toy that everyone can play, plus tariffs, rising prices, inflation, all this stuff. It's impossible for us to know. Going on the safe side, it'll probably be $200. But if this is just mainly meant for like DS games and a few like re-releases, like that's a really hard sell for anyone that isn't a die-hard Nintendo fan. So I don't really know.
Yeah, and it's tough to dictate whenever we compare it to Game Boy Advance, because whenever we do get N64, whenever we did get the GameCube, we got those separate controllers like these, where it's like, okay, you're gonna sell that extra peripheral. This would essentially just be the second screen. Like that's all you're
Hmm.
really going for. No other attachments, no other things. You just use your Joy-Cons and there you go. So it's a very interesting prospect. Again, Nintendo, this would make the Switch 2 the console, which I think is their main goal for this generation, outside from releasing great games, getting your back catalog to the modern era right now to take with you on the go. I mean, Nintendo couldn't miss there. And granted, I personally think we're 4 or 5 years away from this. This is a long ways off.
Yeah, I agree with that. Usually with patent, uh, there'll be some people like, oh yeah, it's gonna be shown anytime now. Where's that General Direct? And like it just that's not how these work. That's not how businesses work. This is probably there's a very good chance we never see it. Like they're just probably still like testing it at this point, stuff like that. Um, if they are going to come out with this, you have to have the DS library on NSO ready to go, and probably a game or two like Kid Icarus Uprising that's being re-released again in uh in partnership with this. So like there's a lot that's got to go right for this to actually become like an actual product that people want to buy.
And just in closing too, whenever you look at what they're doing for the Switch 2 with like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that second screen experience on your phone, I mean, hey, they're all about this second screen stuff. So whether that ties into it somehow too, where you can get more out of this product, I don't know. But it is worth talking about. And again, I just need more older games in my life, because my back catalog of new games, I'm just throwing that to the side. But do you have any final thoughts here?
No, I hope this is happening because yeah, there's a lot of DS games I would love to play again, but I just don't. This still feels like a very early thing. Like we're a long ways from this. I'd be excited to learn more about it. I think it would definitely help the Switch 2 stand out even more.
Yeah.
But man, it's just so hard right now for a company to release like anything and be like, yeah, I can see this being a big hit. Like times are tough. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to like really see the bright side of this besides, oh yeah, DS games, that's awesome. And are people really gonna pay $200 to play DS games on a service that they're already paying for? We'll see.
Steep prices, but yes, that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to talk more about this subject, leave a comment down below or join our community Discord. Links to that is in the video description down below. But as of right now, I've been Kalo, joined by John Hanson, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.